จัยพื้นฐานในการดำเนินชีวิตมีไม่เพียงพอจะเอาอะไรไปซื้อจะหาสิ่งของที่ไหนไปแบ่งปันวายในสิ่งใดที่ใจของตนจะเป็นประโยชน์ต่อทุกคนแต่ผู้คนเป็นคนจำนวนมากจึงรับปากว่ายินดีมอบให้เดินเอาไปเถิดท่านอาจารย์สามารถจะให้ชีวิตผ่านพ้นอุปสรรคไปได้ดีมีความสุขมีความเบิกบานปฏิภาณวนบานกันแปลว่าบุญทั้งหลายองค์สมเด็จพระบรมศาสดามาให้แก่การสร้างสรรค์ชีวิตอันงามการเทศนาสาขาให้ทราบแล้วให้ถวายข้าวปลาอาหารแก่พระสงฆ์ด้วยการพระสงฆ์โอนหลายร้อยตัวประโยชน์ข้าวตัวตามไปสติปัญญาของนางก็อาจใช้สติปัญญาและความดีชนะได้ทุกครั้ง
Alright, so just at the jetty, guys. It is huge. Interesting thing with Nakhon Pathom. It must be very touristy. It's hard to see any information anywhere in English. So I think I'm a little bit off the tourist track, which is good. That's fine. But how is that Chedai? It's easily the biggest jetty I've ever seen in Thailand. That is super impressive. Don't know how Grandad come to have an amulet that he brought back with him from being a POW when he was repatriated. He had this, and it was amongst his medals when I got given them a couple of years ago. So yeah, I don't know what the significance, how we come to have the amulet with Phra Pathom jetty. But there it is, so it's very cool to be here. Love you, Grandad. I don't know how, I'm just in awe. I've read a lot of stuff on what the soldiers went through, the POWs on the railroad. Wow. Endurance like you wouldn't believe. I don't think I'd have survived it. I'll put my hand up and admit that. Just incredible. Yeah, anyway, he survived, and because he survived, I'm here to come and appreciate this. So yeah, pretty special. Glad to be here. Super appreciative actually to be here. Thanks, Grandad. I owe it all to you. Really special to be here at the museum, the Thailand Burma Railway Centre. Incredible. I've just been through. You're not allowed video, but I've taken a lot of photos. Wow. It's incredible to think I owe my existence to being here purely because my grandfather survived the Thailand Burma Death Railway. My mother was fathered after he was repatriated and got back to Australia. If he hadn't survived the railway, I wasn't here. It's really puts a strange twist on things. We hear the horror of the Hiroshima bomb, the Nagasaki bomb, the atomic bombs. the death and destruction, and I give full respect to all people affected by that. The other side of the coin is it also gave life. I'm here because of the atomic bombs being dropped on Japan. It's incredible. It's pretty powerful. So yep, I owe everything to Robert Arnold Downey, VX 41950. They do the most incredible job. The cemetery is absolutely beautiful. So much time and effort going into this. It is just glorious, and so it should be. They do a fantastic job, the gardeners and the caretakers. Great to see. Hintok River Camp, and I picked this purely because it was the actual site of the Japanese officers' camp on the railway in World War II. This is the camp. This is reception. Sawadee Cup. It's got a museum. You head through there. Story of Hintok River Camp Museum. The reason I picked this resort, this is actually the site of the Japanese officers' camp at Hintok River Camp, hence the name, during World War II. I'm not exactly sure yet where the POWs would have been. Not 100% sure if Grandad would have ever, I'm assuming he would have passed through here at some point. He started in Burma and ended up at Kanchanaburri. So at some point he would have passed through. And that's actually the Muang River, which has had its name changed to the Kwai River. Apparently the bridge over the River Kwai was never over the Kwai River, it was over the Muang River. They changed the name, the Thai government changed the name because of the popularity of the movie, which was a lovely gesture. So nowadays, it's the Kwai River. Okay, we're about to commence the journey. I'm all geared up, walkie-talkie. I'm going to try and get to Hintok Cutting. So we'll wander down to the track. We'll walk through Hellfire Pass, or I'll walk through Hellfire Pass. You can join me on a video journey. Through Hellfire Pass onto Hintok Cutting's my aim, and then be back and catch the train from Namtok Station and do the rail journey. So a big day of the railroad today. That's what today's all about. Just went through the museum. Oh, really touching. It absolutely brings a tear to your eye in there. Just absolutely incredible what the POWs and the Asian labourers, let's not forget them, what was endured. And it's just, I can't wrap my head around it. Was for years. It was not a bad weekend. It was 24/7, 7 days a week for years. Wow, that's endurance. That is just the ultimate endurance. Absolute heroes, every last one of them. Incredible. I'm only here because my grandfather survived the railway. He fathered my mum after he got back. So I owe my entire existence to the courage, the guts, the determination, enduring a living hell day in, day out for years of my grandfather. Robert Arnold Downey, I love you. Yeah. So this is the actual rail bed, or the position of the actual original rail bed. There's a lot of smoke pollution this time of year up here. I'd heard about it before I left Australia. Yeah, to see it like this, it's got a strange kind of beauty in a way. It'd be nicer if it was clearer. Oh, granddad. The breeze through here. Just got the most amazing breeze. Just, oh wow, it's still going. It's probably just the cutting, but well, Just me and Grandad in the cutting. That breeze was amazing. It's completely gone. Completely gone. Calm. Wow, that was powerful. It's the drill bit that was broken during the construction of the pass. Wow. That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. How do you explain these things when they happen? The breeze, just up through there, walk into the, and now there's not a breath of wind. What is that? VX41950, Robert Arnold Downey, I love you. I can remember sitting on Granddad's knee as a young kid, like real young. He showed me the scars on the back of his hand where he collapsed working on the railway one day. And the Japanese guard, or Korean guard, come over to finish him with a bayonet, just get him off the track, get him out of the road. He hit the bayonet away and got up and kept working. Tough old drover. Love you, Grandad. Miss you. Wish I had more time with you. Yeah, it's emotional. It's now 10:05. I've virtually had the whole of Hellfire Pass to myself. That was incredible. There's people around everywhere when I first started the journey, and I've virtually been in Hellfire Pass for the last 20 minutes by myself completely. Unbelievable. Thank you, Grandad. Like to think you organised that one for me. Well, we're going to continue on. Going to try and get the Hintop cutting. I think it's about 2 k's down the bed, the rail bed. So we'll see how we go. I don't think this path will be as well trodden as the one through Hellfire Pass. But we'll see how we go. So that's the rail bed. Would have come along. And then this would have been a bridge across here that was built. All gone now. So a trestle bridge once stood here. So by this point, the POWs and the Asian workers were obviously well and truly malnutritioned. The speedo was on, where the Japanese were desperate to get the railway built, so they were working the men harder than ever. And by this point, their shoes had worn out. They were bare feet by this point. Seven days a week, bare feet, most of them probably sick. I tell you what, you hear stories of human endurance. For the length of time, this railway, it must be just one of the most unbelievable stories of human endurance ever. The hard work, I mean, that's terrible conditions, sick. The camp I'm staying at, Hintop River Camp, a third of the POWs and Asian workers died that were in that camp. Cholera had taken hold. Diseases were taking men out that, with some good nutrition and rest, no need to take anyone out. But men were dying of it because they had no nutrition, because they had no rest. You just had to get that railway built. Quanoi Valley Lookout. So this is hammer and tap cutting. Virtually cut out by hand almost. Just hand tools to cut this out. So the POWs and the Asian labourers would start work at daybreak. As I said before, malnutritioned, sick, a lot of them, and they'd start at daybreak and they'd get back to the camp 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then up a couple of hours later and back into it again, day in, day out. Just incredible. So this was called 7 metre cutting. And this adjoined, so just up here will be the depression cutout, or 3-tier bridge span this. I was just listening, apparently the bridge collapsed 3 times while they were constructing it, so it was nicknamed with the POWs the Decker Cards Bridge. It was 80 feet high, 3 levels. I'm really I'm just thoroughly enjoying this walk. It's very spiritual. It's amazing to be, I don't know, just knowing you've got a connection to it with a family member. It would be absolutely incredible for anyone to be here and see this and hear what went on and what was endured, the living hell for years, day in, day out, and long days. So like I said, just anyone could come here and see it. You don't have to have that family connection, of course, but it just adds to it knowing you have a direct link to it. Pretty powerful stuff. It's been a really powerful day, but just being out here by myself, I like to think me and Granddad having a wander down the railway 80 years later. And I will never forget that breeze that come through the start of Hellfire Pass when I walked in. It was amazing. And I really did think, obviously, it's just the geography of the cutting, but within a few seconds it was absolutely calm, not a breath of wind for the whole rest of the time in there. So that gust of wind, I think, will be my most favourite gust of wind of all time. Love you, Grandad. So walking down into another depression of one of the cuttings. Sorry.
Safety number 4.
So yeah, I'll get down the stairs. I was just listening to a really interesting story with the bushmen would go out and they'd find white ants, termites, and they'd put that into the timbers of the bridge supports to try and white ant the bridge. So they knew what was going to happen at some point when the trains were using the bridge. And the gentleman telling the story was saying they weren't real rapt when they realised they were going to be the first on the trains to go over the bridges on the trains. He was just saying they took no pride whatsoever in the work. They'd leave bits and pieces out of the supports, the tie-ins and things like that at times, if they could get away with it, so the bridges weren't built for super strength. Hence, yeah, why they were quite concerned when they were going to be the first ones going over the bridges on the trains. Hintok cutting. It's hot. Wow, this is just incredible. So, I was a bit confused before. This is the actual site. That's the site of 3-tier bridge, deck of cards bridge. That's the one that they, well, probably all the bridges, the timber bridges, they're putting the white ants into to erode the strength of the bridge supports. There are 14 kilometres of bridges along the entire railroad, constructed by hand out of the teak forest timber that was surrounding. Teak forests are now gone. Elephants were used every now and again. But yep, that's the site of 3-tier bridge, deck of cards bridge. And that leads straight into Hintok cutting. Hintok cutting. It's amazing to walk this and get an idea of just what was required. Oh, Mozzie. He sounded big enough to steal the camera gear. It's amazing to get an idea of just what was required, the amount of just the last hour. I've been through cuttings into rock, solid rock, where they've cut the path of the train line. And then you've walked through depressions where there were timber bridges. There's probably been 3 of those just in this little section. And then you think, even where the ground was flat, it's not like that was cruisy, because then that had to be built up with rock to make it level. So between building bridges, digging cuttings and levelling out the ground where those weren't required, it was just unbelievably hard labour. All 415 kilometres of the railroad. As I just said, 14 kilometres of which were timber bridges. 14 kilometres. Wow. So this is the end of the walk from the Hellfire Pass Museum to Hintock Road. And on it continued to Tambizat in Burma, and on to Kanchanaburri and further that way to Bangkok. Silly things you do. I've got 3 bottles of water in my bag. I'd love a drink, but I'll try and get back to the car without having a drink. It's not anything to do with, or a patch on what those guys went through, of course, but yeah, just a little sacrifice, I suppose, to walk the railway. So it took me about an hour to walk from Hellfire Pass to the end of the walk through Hintock Cutting. I've got a train to catch at 12:50 from Namtok down to Kanchanaburri. Slightly concerned with time. It's 11:05 now. I've got to walk all the way back to the museum, get the car, dial in Namtok railway station into the GPS, and hopefully get there in time to catch the train. I really want to do the train ride down along the river and into Kanchanaburri, walk across the bridge, film and photograph the bridge, and then jump back on the train jump back on the train like a bomb crater where they bombed the line during the war. So yeah, catch the train again at Kanchanaburri. Hopefully that gets back to Namtok at about 6:30. Get in the car and head back to Hintock River Camp for my last night there. And it will have been a fantastic few days. 2 days. It will have been a fantastic It will have been a fantastic 2 days of the railway. Just heading back into Hintock Pass, so I'm going to film all the way through this one. Decker Cards Bridge. No more. So this was the side of Decker Cards Bridge. It's probably about 35 degrees. Of conditions. A lot of this area was constructed during the monsoon just to add to the difficulty level. I was just listening where one of the POWs, the survivors, was saying it rained for 100 days straight. So the whole area was just awash. And they were working from daybreak and getting back to the camps at 2 or 3 in the morning. Wow. And I'm a bit thirsty. It's ridiculous. I'll tough it out. Well, I'll just get down here. I'm just listening to stories from the survivors about when they were repatriated. 4% of Australian servicemen in World War II were POWs. 4%. Yet they recorded 30% of the death toll during service. That 4% represented 30% of the death toll. Just listening to some of the stories, one of the survivors saying 14,000 odd troops were repatriated by ship back to Australia, Grandad one of them. But he was saying the nursing sisters on the boats, on the ships, the guys walking up the gangway to go aboard, and the nursing sisters, just tears streaming down their faces, just looking at the condition of the men. My grandfather was a drover before and after the war. during training before he left for Singapore. He was on the tug of war team. It's a pretty strong bloke. I'm not sure of the weight, modern measurement, but I know he was 4 stone when he got repatriated. From memory, he's only a short bloke. Wasn't a big, tall, strapping bloke. Tough bloke. But he was 4 stone when they got him and got him sent back to Australia. I think there was a good number of weeks. I'll have to double check, but I think they were taken from Kanchanaburri, or just below Kanchanaburri, to Bangkok. I think they were in Bangkok for a few weeks, trying to get some condition back so they could make the journey back to Australia. I was just listening to a gentleman saying the night he got home, went and climbed into his bed, nice big comfortable bed, couldn't sleep in that, had to get his blanket, throw it on the floor and sleep on the floor. Another gentleman saying the day he got home, his mum cooked a roast dinner for them, the potatoes, the whole lot. He sat down, cut off a piece of meat, couldn't even put it past his lips. It wasn't just about getting rescued, repatriated, surviving the torment of the living hell. It went on. There probably wasn't as much known about post-traumatic stress disorder and all that kind of thing we have nowadays. But by God, those guys would have done it tough, even the survivors. Okay, I just jeez, it's hot. I promised Jackie before I left I'd stay safe, so I just had to buckle. I had to stop and have some water, just pour some water over my head. It's no good. Honestly, heat exhaustion could be a real factor here. It is hot. I'm lugging backpacks, camera bags, tripod and camera. I'm not the fittest bloke going. Carrying way too much weight than what I'd like to be carrying. And that's just me. That's not me gear. So I thought I'd stop, have a drink. So that was for you, Jack. That drink was for you. The other toughing it out part, Grandad, that was for you, buddy. But I'm looking forward to getting back to the car. But this has been absolutely something I'll never forget. Really concerned. I really want to be on the last train to Kanchanaburri at 12:50 today. I don't know what time it is now. The joys are not wearing a watch. I can't really see on the camera, phone, whatever it is nowadays. Technology. But I just really want, and I've still got to drive to Namtok yet. Once I get back to the car, punch in the directions, and then I've still got to drive to Namtok, which I think is about 30 k's and about half an hour down the road. More steps just for something different. Oh, I can see the end of Hellfire passes up through those trees. So this is the last bridge depression I've got to do. Then it's just back through Hellfire Pass and then up all those stairs back to the museum. Drop off the walkie-talkie, get my car licence back and head for Nam Tok. And if they're selling drinks at the station, I hate to say it, there might have to even be a can of Coke waiting for me there. I'm trying to stay off it, it's so hard over here. You have water, soda water. I'm trying to stay off beer. But every now and again you just need something that's going to cut through that thirst, hence the Coca-Cola comes in. But on we go. Oh, that's what I need, the tripod hitting rocks and bouncing me back. Oh man. Wow, not back yet. They say to have, oh man, a certain level of fitness. I might be a bit below that. That was harder than Sky Temple. Battery died in the other GoPro just as I got back to Hellfire Pass. Sawadee Cup. I didn't even have the energy in the tank to stop and change the battery. There's no way I could have stopped and getting up those stairs at the end, back up to the museum. That's one of the toughest things I've done. Man, that was hard. What a place to do it tough though, and I shouldn't even be whinging. I absolutely get that. We've got it so good nowadays. And we've got it so good because of the sacrifice those blokes made, and people like them, everyone that served our country. We should do everything to protect that freedom. Just saying, I know it's not a popular view nowadays. But, yeah, incredible. I know I said I'd wait till Nam Tok Station. I can't wait till Nam Tok Station. That was hard work. That's probably one of the hardest physical things I think I've done. Cheers. On that note, let's go catch a train.